This is Module 7, Community Collaboration and Support of the CDOT Fiscal Year 2015 Grant Application Technical Assistance Modules. During this webinar, you will find some information that may be helpful to you as you complete the Community Collaboration section of the CDOT grant application. As with the other modules in this series, I have Jan with me here.
Hi.
And we're going to continue our discussion about a project for Fake County and really talk about, for this webinar, what community collaborations we have already established for this project and how to articulate that. So let's look at the guidance from the grant application about this section.
In the Community Collaboration and Support section, there are a total of 10 points that can be earned. All projects should demonstrate that partnerships exist or are being developed. We need to identify partnerships and planning groups or coalitions that were included in the planning and implementation of this project. Those partnerships may include, but are not limited to, law enforcement, health departments, social service agencies, schools, private businesses, churches, foundations, and other community-based coalitions and organizations. Even just from reading that list, we have a bunch of those incorporated in our grant already.
Maybe that's actually how we should start for our outline. Maybe we can just put a list of partners so that we can think of who we mentioned elsewhere in the grant and make sure that we don't miss any when we write the application.
That sounds good.
Before we go there, I guess we should look at the evaluation criteria. So we want to, they're asking us whether the applicant has established relationships with appropriate internal and external partners to execute and evaluate the proposed project, and then whether we are going to participate, lead, or plan to establish a coalition that will support the goals of the project. Now, we actually included an objective related to our collaboration, so that should be something maybe we highlight in this section, because we not only plan to be part of the coalition, we run the coalition, and we actually set some measurable objectives for that coalition. Back to our template that we've been using to take our outline notes for this project. Let's just start here in thinking of, again, setting out an outline, maybe using some of the tips like we used in the last section with bolds or underlines to make sure that the reviewers see that how we're addressing their criteria. So first, we want to say establish, we probably want to talk actually about the alliance and who the members are. So let's just maybe make a header that's called the name of our alliance.
Okay.
Fake County Tenant Driving Alliance. And so we may want to talk a little bit about them. So we want to talk about membership. We want to talk about the history, brief history. And this can be just one sentence. You know, we formed in 2004 to address the teen driving safety in our county. We have member agencies from a variety of different community organizations, and then we want to list some of those organizations that are included.
That would really show our external partners, yes.
Oops.
Do we need to tell, or would this go in the brief history, how often we meet?
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that they can, then they can see that we do actively get together.
That's a great idea. So we'll include how often do we meet, and maybe goals and missions, or like the mission of the organization or the alliance here, because it's a little different than maybe our agency. We're just one agency on the alliance. So for this project, let's just brainstorm, and then we'll have to figure out formatting. This might just end up being a paragraph without even any headers. I don't know, because it's pretty short. But let's talk about partnerships specifically in place for this particular project.
Right, and we talked about working with law enforcement, so we need to include them here.
Who else did we mention? 5 schools.
Right. Well, we also said that we would partner with the state health department so that we could use some of their tools.
And I guess just the alliance itself, because they're really going to help us execute some of this information.
Right. In a way, didn't we already list that?
Yeah, I guess we did. We may want to just mention up here what the alliance is specifically going to do for this project.
Okay. And then we don't have to actually mention the teens or their parents, right? Because that's not really a partnership that we already have in place. That's what we're trying to do.
Right. I think that, where you have the schools and really we're not, as we mentioned in the previous section, we're not doing direct interaction with the teens. So I think it's okay that we just put that in there.
Okay.
Just the schools. So, I know this one thing that I thought was interesting in the grant application, it didn't ask for letters of support, and sometimes it does. But I did know that on the first technical assistance call, someone asked whether letters of support were required. CDOT said no, but that we could include them if we wanted to. And so I actually think it'd be a good idea for us because, law enforcement, since we want to partner with them to do enhanced enforcement and to allow us to come into their agencies to do the GDL presentations, maybe they would give us a letter of support for the project. And then Fake County Schools, if we could have a letter of support from each of the schools saying that they would already agree, that would be great. And the same with CDPHE in terms of the data.
And as you're talking about this, it reminded me of a conversation we had earlier. If we're going to have the local businesses or the insurance companies contribute to our competition, we should probably list them as partners now too.
Local business, and the local business was specific for the iPad.
Right.
Incentive, and the local insurance company.
That was for the money for the school that wins the competition.
200. Yes, I believe it was $200.
Yes.
So 200 for the school incentive. I think that's great. Now we certainly don't have to have letters of support, and really for CDPHE, they're giving us access to data, and their letter of support would probably be something along the lines of, we agree to give them this evaluation data, which I don't know if it'd be worth a letter or not, but I think we could at least write it because we know we've already talked to them and that they have this data, and that's why we included it in our evaluation plan. So I think not only do we have to talk about partnerships in place for this particular project, but how they'll each contribute.
Okay.
So maybe I'll just put a little asterisk for us in here as we write. And then up here, we definitely, since one of the evaluation criteria is asking if we are going to participate, lead, or plan to establish a coalition, we need to talk about our objective 1 in our action plan, since that is related to that. So we are leading the coalition.
Right, and not only leading, but trying to increase the participation.
Trying to increase the coordination and collaboration of members.
Yes.
And then we can just say C objective 1.
I like that.
Okay, I think that's good. Well, just to quickly review our evaluation criteria, I think we'll be able to show just from that brief outline that we've established relationships with our appropriate internal and external partners to execute the project, and that through the Fake County Teen Driving Alliance, we have the partnerships in place with those members to support the goals and objectives of this proposed project.
All right, that wasn't too bad.
All right, that's it. Next, we'll talk about long-term sustainability.